Ladies and gentlemen, a very warm welcome to AddisDialogue. Today on the show, we'll be exploring the intersection of education, technology, innovation, as well as Pan-Africanism, while encouraging deeper discussions on some of the roles TVET is having when it comes to driving the technological as well as socio-economic progress on the continent of Africa. And in order to shed more light on the matter, Daniel Aoko is joining me today via Zoom. He's TVET lecturer as well as research consultant. I'm your host, Shifara Olaiko. Do stay with us. All right, Daniel, thank you so much for making the time to talk to us.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for this kind of invitation.
Absolutely. So let's just jump right into it. And whenever we talk about Pan-Africanism, as you know, we see the principles, the different principles integrated into it. So how can such principles as collaboration, mutual respect, development be integrated into the technology-focused education and innovation across the continent of Africa?
Thank you. The Pan-African principles can be integrated into technology-focused education through what we call innovation across Africa. By one, we have to do what we call collaborative curriculum development. And what we refer to collaborative curriculum development is that we have to share best practices and resources across institutions in our countries. We need to develop joint curriculum that addresses common challenges and leverage on regional strength. For example, Kenya is known to be very good when it comes to mobile programming. South Africans are known to be very good when it comes to software development. If we bring these ideas together and we leverage them against the strengths of other countries, then we are able now to develop Africa as a whole. That we rely on the strength of South Africa, and then we also rely on the strength of Kenya to move in that direction. We can also do what we call joint research projects. And this is to encourage collaborative initiatives on pressing African issues, such as climate change, food and security, and using technology. We can also facilitate what we call a student exchange program for knowledge sharing and joint projects, where we have students from one region going to other region to learn more, because we believe that each region or each country has its own strength. And therefore, if we know that South African are strong in terms of software development, then we can have an exchange program. We also need what we term as mutual development. Mutual development is mentorship programs where experienced professionals from these particular member countries are able to, from the African nations, are able to guide the students and researchers to develop in these countries. We can also focus on technology solutions and address specific needs and challenges within our communities. Then it is also very crucial that we improve on what we term as our digital infrastructure. We cannot talk about having a technological development without an improvement in the digital infrastructure, because our digital infrastructure, we need to have high-speed internet connectivity. We need to have investment in robust, affordable networks, including the 4Gs and 5Gs and fiber optic infrastructure. We also need to get into what we call the renewable energy in terms of leverage on solar, so that we don't rely on more on the grid electricity. So we can adopt the leverage on solar, wind, and hydropower to support a growing digital economy and reduce reliance on fossil fuel. We can also embrace the idea of artificial intelligence in terms of development of AI solutions in our agriculture, health, education, and other sectors in order to improve on efficiency and in productivity. We also need to embrace the idea of blockchain technology blockchain technology normally focuses on secure and transparent financial transactions by supplying management and land ownership records. We need to embrace the idea of space technology. And when you talk about the space technology, we talk about investing in satellite technology. We talk about improving communication. And then we talk about remote and remote sensing. And also we involve disaster management. We need to embrace the idea of TVET. We know that TVET is normally, they develop what we call the human resource, the driving force of an economy. That is skill development. Align TVET programs with the demands of the digital economy, focusing in demand skills like coding, data analysis, cybersecurity, and the artificial intelligence. We also need to embrace the idea of industrial partnership, foster on partnership between TVET institutions and the local industries to ensure that practical skills are translated into job placement opportunities. We need also to access what we call, to have technological access, equip our TVET institutions with the modern labs, workshops, digital learning equipment, and of course, provide students with access to affordable technology and equipment such as laptops and digital devices. Because if they don't have those equipment, then you are not able to propel technology. We also need to refer to what we call international collaboration, where we can facilitate partnership of TVET institutions in more developed countries for knowledge exchange. For example, sending Kenyans to Germany or sending Ethiopians to Germany, because we know Germans are very good in terms of maybe vehicle. Japan are known for that. So you can, when you have motor vehicle engineering department, if we send our learners to go for industrial attachments or internship in those countries, then they are able to learn more practically and bring in new ideas that they can be able to implement in our nations. Then we also need to look at the role of African youth. To African youth in terms of innovation drivers, because the youth are the innovation drivers. We need to support the youth-led initiative in development and implement technology solutions for local challenges. Then you also need to impart them with what we term as digital literacy. We equip the youth with essential digital literacy, including the critical thinking and problem-solving skills to be for digital citizenship. Then we need to encourage, we need to do what is called community encouragement. Encourage the youth to use their technological skills to access social issues to address social issues within our communities. Then we talk of collaboration to enhance collaboration access. Pan-African Digital Network should develop a regional and continental network to facilitate affordable and equitable access to education, health, and other essential services. We also need to do what we call telemedicine and e-learning platform. And this is to utilize telemedicine platform to connect remote communities with health professional facilities. We need to develop and deploy a robust e-learning platform. We need to look at the challenges of the TVET institutions and provide solutions. Funding constraints in our TVET institutions, seek for increased government funding so that we can explore alternative funding sources in the private partners and international development. We also need to look at the outdated curriculum and equipment, because when you are saying you're developing technology, then whenever our curriculum is not, if our curriculum is not dynamic, then we have a problem. We need to find solutions in investment of updates and equipment and upgrade our equipment. We need to collaborate with industry experts to ensure relevance and practical applications. We need to look at the professional development in terms of having qualified personnel in our TVET institutions so that we can invest on the training of the professionals and, of course, the facilities and the faculty exchange in terms of mentorship programs within the African countries.
That's a great insight indeed. So Daniel, one of the issues that Africa faces as we speak when it comes to technology and innovation is the huge gap between that of Africa and those in the more advanced countries. So in what ways can TVET institutions help bridge these technological gaps between African countries and other more developed nations across the world?
Thank you very much. I think we need to, first of all, address the issue of skills development. The industry should have relevant training. That is in our TVET institutions. Training should be focusing on the practical skills that are required, and we should be addressing the emerging issues in terms of technological changes. We need to embrace the idea of ICT. We need to embrace the idea of renewable energy. We need to bring in the idea of biotechnology and automation. This, we should ensure that our graduates are equipped with the skills that are demanded in the modern industry. Two, we should be focused more on entrepreneurship training. And this is fostering our TVET graduates to encourage them to be innovative and to use technology as a means of driving businesses, their business ventures, and of course contributing to economic growth and of course technological advancement. We also need to look at the infrastructure. If you compare is outside there and what we have in Africa, there's a big difference. You cannot actually talk of technology if you don't improve on infrastructure. And when you talk of infrastructure, we're talking of the technology-enabled learning environment in our institutions. We need to have modern facilities that can be able to help our learners acquire the latest technological skills. We need to have access to internet connectivity because we realize that in Africa, there's a big challenge in the access to internet connectivity. So we need to have some regulations that can actually make internet connectivity to be accessible to each and every person within the community. So if you can have that internet connectivity, then this will assist us in enabling our learners and institutions, when the internet is made affordable, to be able to be creative and get involved more in areas of software development, because you realize that software development, whenever you talk of intelligent machines, there's always the element of software development, and therefore internet is a core unit of that. We also need to develop issues of collaborative and partnership. With the collaborative and partnership, that is, we need to establish industrial partners with institutions and organizations in these developed countries, so that we can facilitate exchange knowledge and transfer technology and access to global best practices. We need to improve on what we call research and innovation. And that is why there's also a need to change the education system. We realize that the UN embraced what we call the competence-based education, because the competence-based education is actually research-based. And without research, we cannot actually spearhead development. So we need to have applied research and develop our TVET institutions so that they can encourage research and innovations to address the technological gaps and provide solutions to the challenges that are faced in the African countries. So we also need to have technological incubation centers. What are these technological incubation centers? We establish centers within TVET institutions to support students-led innovation and to develop technological-based startup, where you get a student as an idea. So we have these incubation centers. The TVET institutions are able to assist these particular learners to propel the ideas, because some of these learners have great ideas, but they do not have the financial capacity. We need also to bring what we call promoting digital literacy, because that is also another issue. You cannot talk about technology if you don't have digital literacy. So we need to integrate digital literacy in our learning program so that individuals are empowered to have essential technology that can make them the essential digital literacy that can empower them to be able to utilize the technology effectively. We need to address the issue of technological device. We should be aware of the barriers of technology in terms of infrastructure and constraints, and we should be able to address them and harmonize those barriers so that we can be able to have more people utilize the technology.
Let's also talk about the roles that African youth play, especially when it comes to their involvement in the technical education and the digital skills training. So in this regard, what roles do you see that African youth and their involvement in technical education and digital skills training can play in advancing Pan-Africanist ideas and ideals?
Thank you very much. The youth are very instrumental when it comes to role play in Pan-African ideals. One, we talk of economic empowerment, job creation. Developing in-demand skills has increased, and this leads to employability within Africa. We see that our youth are able to come up with our youth are able to come up with more idea that can enable them to be actually self-reliant and be able to come up with products that can actually be reducing reliance on the external market and therefore fostering on the economic independence. We look at the youth having the entrepreneurship skills through the digital platforms. The digital skills empower the youth to start their own businesses as a driving innovation and creating jobs for others within their communities. This has contributed stronger to the economy of Africa because most of the African countries, we talk of employment, but the youth are able to work online. They're able to create jobs online, work in the US when they're in our respective countries, and therefore they are able to bring in more income into the country through what we call the online jobs. Technological advancement. In terms of innovation, equipping the technological knowledge, youth can develop and implement solutions to challenges such as improving on agriculture, healthcare, and infrastructure. Then we are also seeing the digital inclusion. Youth can bridge the digital inclusion. Youth can bridge the digital divide by developing and deploying accessible technology and digital literacy programs across the continent. Exchange and the cultural unity. Digital platform. Now, one online platform and digital tools can connect youth across the entire Africa. Because when we talk of digital platform, there are no boundaries. They can foster on exchange of culture, collaboration, share a sense of African identity. We also see knowledge sharing, where in the digital platform, they can be able to share knowledge by sharing what we call the best practices and innovation across the continent by accelerating development. Political and social change. This is another area. Informed citizen. We know that digital literacy empowers the youth to access information critically, analyze issues, and participate in a meaningful political and social discourse. Advocacy. And when you talk of advocacy, this is about youth utilize digital platforms to advocate for policies that promote Pan-Africanism, such as regional integration, free movement of people, and sustainable development.
Of course, you touched upon that, but let's also talk about the current digital divide. So given the current digital divide, how can African countries collaborate through, technology in order to enhance access to different kinds of education, healthcare, and other critical services on the continent of Africa?
Thank you very much. One is Pan-African digital infrastructure. One is collaborating investments. Countries can pool resources to invest in robust and affordable digital infrastructure, such as fiber optic network, satellite internet, and mobile broadband. We can do also what we call cross-border connectivity. Prioritizing the development of cross-border digital connectivity will facilitate what we call a seamless communication and data exchange within our countries. The other one is addressing education and healthcare innovation. How do we address education and healthcare education? One, telemedicine and distant learning. Leveraging on technology to provide remote healthcare services. And this is distance learning opportunity can expand access to quality education and healthcare, especially in remote and undeserved areas. We can also have open educational resources and data sharing. Sharing educational resources and medical data across the borders can improve on the quality and access to education and healthcare services. We also talk about the digital skills development. And when we talk about digital skills development, we are talking about the collaboration of trainings to equip our citizens with essential digital skills, which will empower them to effectively use it for education, health, and other critical services. Because we know that in our health, today technology is playing a major role when it comes to operating the machines, because most of the machines are computerized. Then we can also do what we call promoting digital entrepreneurship. Fostering digital entrepreneurship can lead to development of innovative solutions to address challenges and economic opportunities. Then we also need to talk about policy harmonization and collaboration. The cross-border protection and establishing regulations that can actually be harmonized to secure and facilitate ethical sharing of information along across border. Then we look at joint research development still in these areas of medical. We can also do joint research and use the online platform to be able to share our innovation across the African continent, especially when we talk about when we had the coronavirus. So using the technology would have been actually easier because Kenyans are doing research, Ethiopians are doing research, and other countries are doing research. So when you use the technological platform to share the data that we have and to share the outcome, then it will enhance the process of getting a solution to the coronavirus very fast. And that is what we need to do in our medical industry, so that we don't just say that the Kenyan doctor, they just rely among themselves, but they can also do a collaborative by having a joint research development through collaborative platform.
Thank you so much for your wonderful ideas, for your time. I know you have this busy schedule, but somehow you managed to give us some of your precious time. I really, really appreciate it.
Thank you so much and feel most welcome.
Yes, sir. Well, ladies and gentlemen, thank you as well for having been with us so far. Until I see you next time with yet another program, it's a goodbye from me, Shifara Aoko.